Hi, I'm Stevie and I'm 17.
Hi, I'm Sarahlin and I'm 18.
And today we have Victoria.
Hi, I'm Victoria and I'm 14 years old.
Let's talk autism.
At home.
Sarahlin, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
So when you was with your mum and you went to get diagnosed with autism, how did your mum cope?
Well, I'll be honest with you. My mum was really shocked because she didn't know what autism was. And she had to do some research on the internet. But then she got to understand me more and she got to know what autism was. So my mum, she is good, you know.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Victoria? Well, how did your mum feel when you got diagnosed with autism?
Well, I don't really know, but all I know for sure is that when I was 3, I got diagnosed with autism.
I'd say when you was 3.
Yeah, but she told me at a later age, like when I was like, I think when I was like 7 or 8, she told me that I had autism, and since then I was just aware about it.
Okay, so obviously this is a silly question, but obviously your mum obviously supported you in all autism, helping you with your special needs.
Yeah.
What about you, Stevie?
I was diagnosed when I was 9, and my mum was very okay. It was my mum and my dad. They were helping me through a lot. Like, I didn't really know what it was, and I think my mum did a lot of research. In fact, she won a marathon to help people for an autistic charity. So my mum's done quite a lot.
Okay.
That sounds good.
Today we got a mum who has a child who has autism.
That sounds like fun. Do you understand? Do you got any guess what she's going to talk about? Any ideas what she's going to talk about?
How she brought up her son.
And maybe how she felt while he was growing up.
Because it'll be really interesting to find out about how mums cope. Because I've never really asked my mum how she's coped. It's not really a question what comes out. So it'd be really interesting how the mum's sort of a view about how to help a child with autism, help anyone with autism. It'll be a really good experience, and I think this will probably be one of the most into interviews we've done, because this is something I'm really looking forward to this interview. Hi, so we've got our guest, Sarah. Welcome, Sarah. Can you introduce yourself?
Of course. Hi, my name is Sarah, and I'm the mum of 2 special needs children, and I'm delighted to come and talk to everybody today. I'm looking forward to answering some interesting questions.
So, I'm going to kick off the questions with, how did you know that your children had autism?
As they were growing up, they didn't reach the normal milestones that children normally do. And one of my children took a long time to learn to speak. And I think also you get advice from healthcare professionals. But probably in your heart, as a mum, you know something's not quite right.
Mm-hmm.
When your sons got diagnosed, did you know how to take it?
I was very upset. And also felt it was my fault. I think a lot of parents will feel it's their fault that they did something. And you're sad because you want your child to have a perfect life, and you know that your child's going to be different and probably going to struggle a little bit more than most children. But it doesn't change how you feel about your child. You absolutely love your child because they're your child.
Okay.
When your sons were diagnosed with autism, did you know what it was, or was it a shock to you?
I knew what it was. It was a shock to me because you don't expect it, because you have a normal little baby and then things change. So it was a shock to me, yes.
Okay, so you found out that your child's got autism, and then you just go through. So your son is about to go to school. Did you know what sort of schools your son was going to go to? Did you think, how did that come? Like, what schools?
I was really stupid. I thought my son was going to go to a normal school. He went to a unit in a school, but it was for children with moderate learning difficulties, and my son didn't like it there, and he started to throw things around the room and throw sand at everybody and became very distressed. So I took him out of that school, and we had his statement redone, and then he got a statement for severe learning difficulties, and he again went to another unit, but that was for children with severe learning difficulties, and then he's always been in a special school. I thought he'd go to the unit and everything would be all right, and then he'd go to normal school because I was a bit stupid.
Did you struggle with talking to other people with autism? Did you find any other mothers talking about autism, or was that a difficult thing? Because
I think when your child goes to a special needs school, you can be very isolated because most of the time the children go to school by bus. But I got involved in lots of different things. I got involved with MenCap, and I got involved with the Parent Teachers Association at school, and I also became a governor of my son's school. So I got to know other families and other people, and you have a kind of little network in your community because James does lots of different clubs and things, so you meet other parents through that. So we all kind of share our experiences when we go out and about.
If you was to talk to someone that has no clue of autism and had no experience in the past of working with people with autism, what would you say to them?
Treat them as individuals and learn how to talk to them, how to communicate with them, because they've got so much to tell you and they'll tell it to you in their own way.
if you could go back in time and you could tell your younger self to do anything different to help your sons, would you go back and what would you tell them?
I think with my eldest son is accept what he wants to do. My son David had this thing about wearing certain clothes, having certain bedding, certain food. And as a parent, I kept on thinking, if I keep on doing it, he's going to change. He wasn't going to change. I needed to change to be able to communicate with him. So to accept that some of the things I think are completely abnormal are actually normal. Like David wouldn't wear stripes. Mm-hmm. And I go and buy him a stripy T-shirt and he'd go, but I can't wear that, it's got stripes. And I go, but why can't you wear stripes? But actually to David it was a big deal. And to me it didn't really matter whether he wore stripes or not, but I felt I had to change him. So my younger self, I would say, just accept. Don't try and change, just accept and go with it. Because it doesn't really make any difference, does it? No. But as a mum, you think, if I keep on doing it enough, they'll change. And they won't.
We have to think about this.
Can I ask a question? What do you want your parents to do? What would you like your parents to do that would make a difference to you?
Well, not my parents, Sarah.
Yeah.
But there's some people in my family who don't understand me.
Yeah.
Not going to say who they are, but they don't understand me. But there's one thing I would like them to do is to accept me for who I am, not just my autism, and think, oh, it's that girl with autism. Because sometimes when I tell people I got autism, they're so shocked, and sometimes it makes me feel a bit angry when they're so shocked, because when I tell them, it's like they weren't talking to me how they was before. Like they knew the girl who didn't have autism, but they found out the girl has autism, so they act a bit funny, if that makes sense.
Of course, yeah. That's a good comment.
Just like Sarahlin says, my parents, they're accepting me of my disability, and they don't really talk about it. So it's not really a problem for me. But for other people, like Sarahlin says, they're pretty shocked that I'm diagnosed with autism, because to them they don't see that I have it, like as if I act like a normal person, like with no autism. But really, it doesn't really make a difference because I'm a individual person.
I think the thing with autism as well is that children look very normal.
Yeah.
So if I was to meet anybody, I wouldn't necessarily know they had autism. If people start talking to me, then I usually can pick it up. And I think that's the thing people who don't know people with autism struggle with, because I think they think you're going to look different, or there's going to be something they're going to be able to tell that you've got autism. And it's probably till you start communicating that they don't, then they realise.
And how they interact with you?
Yeah, and then they change how they interact with you when they don't need to.
Yeah.
It was interesting because you said the comment, Stevie, that you've never asked your parents what it's like.
No, I haven't.
Should I tell you, as a parent, to me, what's really special is everything you achieve, I know how hard it is. And that makes it so special for me. You know, I remember when my son graduated, I felt so proud of him because I knew how hard it had been for him to go through university, to study like he had done, because it was such a big deal for him. And, I was so proud of him. But I'm equally as proud as when James does a couple of swimming laps in the pool, because I know that's hard for him. And I think it's, as a parent, it's known that every little achievement you do is amazing. And you're amazing children.
What would you say to a mother who's just found out that their kid has got autism? What would you say and what advice would you give to them?
Have patience. Lots and lots and lots of patience. Because they're demanding. You're very demanding children. And just accept their limitations. Because they will achieve. They will get to a level. But you just got to be patient and know that that's going to take time. And just be there for them and listen to them. Always listen to your children.
Okay. Do you think, in your personal view, that people in the government need to change to help people with autism a lot more?
Yeah, the government needs to wake up. I think the government needs to understand the needs of families. I think my biggest frustration in terms of, I was going to say, the benefits that we can get. I think there needs to be more input and emphasis on special needs education. But I also think the families have an awful lot to cope with. And for us to get any financial support, it's masses of forms and not being told what benefits you can get, and then your benefit gets cut and nobody explains it to you. And I think people who have a child with disabilities have an awful lot to cope with. And the government should make the system fairer so that people don't have to go through all this paperwork. I've helped lots of families who have struggled to complete forms, and I just think it's so wrong that they have to do that to get financial support for their family.
Is there any other things that you would like to say in this podcast, Sarah?
I think I'll pick up on a question that you asked about what would you tell a parent, or how do I feel about it. I love my children to pieces and I wouldn't want them to be any different, because they have taught me so much. And you always think as a parent you're going to be teaching your children. I think special needs children teach you as an adult, and I think that's a really special gift.
Why are you laughing? Oh, you're crying.
You're crying. Oh, sweetheart, I'm sorry.
Oh,
darling.
it's not that. It's just
Makes you feel special. You are. You're so special.
I'm sorry, Katie. I didn't mean. I'm not crying because I'm sad.
Can we keep this in the podcast? This is good. This is gold.
Oh, see, I got me started now, haven't I?
Oh, I'm really sorry, darling. No, I just think as a parent, I feel so blessed. I really do. I mean, there are times when I could go away and leave me alone. Stop talking to me. But when I look at you, any special children, I just feel you're really special.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for being here with us today. And maybe in the future we can have another conversation like this.
That'd be great. Thank you so much for inviting me. I really enjoyed meeting you.
How amazing was that, guys?
Oh, that was really good.
Really awesome. Especially
Carry on.
especially to meet a parent who's been through their child having a diagnosis. Really, really brilliant.
Sorry, carry on.
I really enjoyed it.
What I think was amazing is it was so honest and so from your heart, and it was just such a good interview, and it kind of touched us all a little bit. It was just so emotional, and the way she explained it, and I think this is probably our best interview so far. It also was sort of made me think what my mum is feeling, and that what also my dad. It's not just mums out there; it's also dads out there who's got children with autism. It's also made me think about mums and dads around there whose children who's got autism, and it's made me think. Actually, maybe my mum and dad, maybe they would want to talk about it one day. Maybe, I think I will talk about it. We'll make them cry later. I think he said end it there. I just want to say well done, Victoria, for coming in and doing this. You're amazing at doing this.
Thank you. Thank you for having
good.
me. Thank you for having me.
So thank you guys for listening for our last interview.
Thank you to all the people behind the podcast. Catherine, Katie, deputy head, and Tim and Roland for helping.
Thank you, Victoria and Stevie.
And of course, thank you to Sarah, who we just had, and thank you for all our guests, and especially thank you to Sarahlin. Bye.
Bye. Take care.
Bye.
This podcast was produced at Drumbeat School and ASD service.
This project was produced by Roland Bullingham,
Tim Godwin,
Catherine Stevenson,
and Katie Kennell. The song featured in this episode was Hola Hola Puffin' Over by Magnetos.
For more information on this podcast
and all of the other services available in Drumbeat School,
please visit our website drumbeatasd.org.
This is a Drumbeat Media production.